growth because it encompasses a great deal of the role of municipal government. We have spent an enormous amount of time and are continuing to do that over into 2009 on the growth management strategy. It's a key focus. Why is it a key focus? Well, one, it's one of the prime responsibilities of a municipal government, but we also happen to live in the Greater Golden Horseshoe, which is the fastest growing urban area in Canada and the third fastest growing area in North America. And so that area, which you can see stretches from Peterborough, Barrie, around to Niagara, all around the Toronto area, is expected to grow by 4 million people by 2031. And so that's why the province has brought forward a regional growth plan for the area so that we can promote sustainable growth with that accommodating those people. So what does it mean for Guelph? Well, it means accommodating 54,000 new residents in that time period. It means growing 31,000 new jobs. 40% of that growth has to happen within the built-up urban boundary. That's represented by the downtown and most of the orange area you see, not the green fields area. So that represents a fundamental and significant shift in urban form than what we've seen over the last 50 years. So a lot of work has to go in to make that transition. You're not expected to read this, but this was just off the top of my head, the various master plans, infrastructure master plans, policy planning, transit systems, transportation systems, all of those types of things. That's all the work that we're having to get done to make sure that not only we can manage growth effectively, but also to meet our legislative requirements with the new growth plan. So a substantial amount of work, and you can see some of that on the placemat as well. So moving to another one of the goals in our strategic plan around personal and community well-being, we've identified an objective around ensuring and supporting that we have diverse housing options for our residents today and in the future and for changing demographics. And so I wanted to highlight two projects that have come out of the community that Council has been able to support, which are just, I think, are brilliant examples of how we can be creative in addressing this. The first is, and you can see it up on the slide, the Terraces of St. Joseph's. This is really responding to our growing seniors population and ensuring that they have accommodation housing options that allows for an independent lifestyle but provides the supports that they need when they need them. Another one of the projects I wanted to highlight is around affordable home ownership, the whole issue of affordable housing. The Upper Grand District School Board, they had a surplus school site to sell. The city wanted to improve the adjacent park. The city and the county was seeking an affordable housing project to take advantage of some federal and provincial funding. And Options for Home, a nonprofit housing developer, was looking for a site in Guelph. And so working together collaboratively, we were able to achieve all of our goals. And 124 affordable units are being built on Mountford Drive. They will be sold at 20% below market value, and affordable housing is also, financing is also available to the successful home buyers. So again, a very creative way to address the issue of affordable housing in the community. So moving back to the framework of principles that can guide us, empowerment and accountability. This means delegating authority well, allocating those responsibilities, and establishing effective accountability mechanisms. So this is a good opportunity for me to recognize my colleagues on council who are here today, and I'm going to ask you to stand while I introduce you, and stay standing so that people can be introduced to you. And hopefully I've got everybody here. So we've got councillors Lise Bircher, Ian Findlay, I know he was on the list but he's not here, Maggie Laidlaw, Vicky Beard, Leanne Piper, June Hoffland, Carl Wetstein, and there's a story behind his eye, I think, Kathleen Farrelly, and Mike Salisbury. So thank you very much, and I'd like just to introduce you to your members of council. These are the people that are charged with the governance of City Hall. That is our role, governance. We're not management, so then that begs the question, who is the management? And I'm going to do the same to the senior management team as well. I'd ask you if you could stand as well as I introduce you. And Mark Amorosi is our Director of Human Resources. Sean Armstrong, I didn't see him come in. He may have had something else. So our Fire Chief. Derek McCoggan, Directors of Operations. Margaret Neubauer. Is Margaret here? Yes. Director of Finance and City Treasurer. Ann Pappert, Director of Community Services. Lois Payne, Director of Corporate Services and City Solicitor. Jim Riddell, Director of Community Design and Development. And Janet Laird, Director of Environmental Services. I'll also introduce Peter Cartwright, who's our General Manager for Economic Development, because he's well known to many of you in the room. We're missing Lois Giles, Director of Information Services and City Clerk, and to our dismay and embarrassment, our City Administrator, Hans Loeg, who's taking some well-deserved vacation time. So thank you very much. That's your senior management team. There are also several other members of City staff here, and I just wanted to acknowledge and thank you for being here as well. So those are the people that are charged with turning the crank and making sure that we deliver on our strategic plan. So how are we strengthening our collective understanding of our roles and responsibilities? Oops, I didn't move on. There they all are. By establishing our vision and our mission and our values through ongoing training within the organization, establishing a code of conduct and embodying the values that have been established of integrity, excellence, and wellness. How are we establishing effective accountability measures? Well, we aren't afraid of independent review to ensure accountability. We will be submitting the 2010 budget to the Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. It's a long one. We need to meet 27 criteria to be considered in this award process to ensure that our budget serves well as a policy document, a financial plan, an operational guide, and a communications device. 19 of those criteria we will meet in the 2009 budget, and the remaining 8 we will achieve in the 2010 budget. The next principle is accomplishment and measurement. So supporting and guiding management, monitoring corporate performance measures, and evaluating council and the CAO our performance. I know many of you in the manufacturing sector, by necessity, are very familiar with lean management philosophy. Although lean thinking originated in the private sector, service organizations, including government, are increasingly adopting the same philosophy and principles to remain effective, relevant, and fully able to negotiate uncertain economic times. What does lean thinking translate to in the city of Guelph? It means that the organization is taking measures to reduce costs, spend less on equipment, and remove non-value added activities by rethinking core processes and eliminating duplication, inefficiencies, and constraints from the perspective of our residents and stakeholders. By doing this, we're setting the stage for increased quality in our programs and services, productivity gains, improved labor utilization, and increased staff morale, and ultimately service excellence. Are we fully there yet? No. We know that achieving performance excellence is a continuous journey, and it necessitates solid management culture within the city. Are we making progress? Absolutely, through the leadership of our CAO and the senior management team. There are many terrific examples of our achievements, including the process optimization at our wastewater facility, which I will talk about in a few minutes, recommendations for improvements from ongoing operational and service reviews, the development of service excellence and HR strategies, along with redefined corporate values that focus on excellence in our service, a new corporate recognition program designed to reinforce those values, clearly communicated visions and objectives, and the deployment of talented staff in all areas of our corporation. All these indicators tangibly demonstrate that we are making progress. Excuse me. They also strengthen the resolve of the organization to continue working towards our performance excellence goals. that will ensure that the provision of exceptional